I had a thought. I want to share it with you. Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome back to Fearless Fridays. Today is Friday, September 18th. I had to look at the date. Today is Friday, September 18th. This is episode 67 of Fearless Fridays. And as always, I welcome you to the show. If you are a first-time watcher, welcome to Fearless Fridays. If you are a return watcher, welcome back to Fearless Fridays. And thank you so much for returning. So listen, I had this thought earlier this week, and you know how you have like an epiphany and it just kind of flows out of your mouth and you're like, yo, that was deep. I had one of those moments earlier this week, and I wanted to share that thought, that epiphany with you. But before I share it with you, you know, we're in this time, we're in this interesting 2020 year. We all know by now that it's been a crazy, wild year. And depending on where you are in the country, in the world, things in your sphere, things in your industry, things in your life may be kind of revving up again. And as things start to rev up, you might find yourself in the space of, all right, we're back to the hustle, back to the grind, back to making it do what it do, back to work, back to, you know, getting things going, back to school, back to whatever. And I want to caution us all, myself included, to not get caught up in the hustle and the grind and that whole thing. Because I understand we all want advancement. We all want to move forward. We have dreams, we have visions, we have goals. We are, you know, if you are a person, if you are watching this, I feel like by now you are a person who operates from a larger vision or from a larger dream or a larger goal. And you kind of know how to put your hand to the plow and get the work done and hustle and grind and do all of those things. But I want to caution us all, again, myself included, because what I realized this week, the epiphany that I had this week, was that a lot of times the advancement or the forward movement that we are seeking, that we are desiring, that we are hustling and grinding after happens not in the hustle, but in our stillness. And I feel like I've known that, you know, that's a simple kind of thing, a simple concept. But I feel like that epiphany just came to me, that realization of that thought just came to me this week, that the forward movement, the forward motion, the advancement that you are seeking, that you are wanting, that you are desiring, is not going to necessarily come from your hustle, from your grind, from your having your hand to the plow, working hard, no rest, I'll rest when I'm dead. That whole mentality, the advancement that you're seeking doesn't necessarily come from that space. It comes from a space of stillness. It comes from a space of rest. It comes from a space of confidence and fearlessness in knowing that the same God who gave you the dream, the same God who gave you the vision, the same God who gave you the goal or the desire is the same God who can get it done, who can do the work that you cannot do. But he's not going to jockey for position. He's not going to force his way in. He's not going to force you to sit down so he can do what he does. He's going to honor what you allow. And if you allow him in the space to do what you cannot do, then you will move, we will move, because I'm talking to myself too, we will move leaps and bounds further and faster than we could ever move if we're the ones trying to do the work, if we're the ones hustling, if we're the ones grinding, if we're the ones jockeying for position, if we're the ones throwing ourselves out there. And that's not to say you don't work hard, because again, if you are a forward thinking person, if you are a person with a dream, with a vision, with a goal, with a purpose that you know that you're working towards, you got to do some work, right? You have to get out there. You have to do your work. You have to do your part. You have to learn what you can. You have to grow yourself. You have to put yourself out there. You have to do those things. But there comes a time where you have to learn the balance between doing all you can do with your hands and in your power, and sitting back and letting God do what he can do what only he can do. There are a lot of things that we can do in our power, and then there are a lot of things that only God can do in his power. And like I said before, he's not going to hustle. He's not going to grind his way in. He's not going to jockey for position. He's not going to elbow himself in. But you have to get to the point to where you understand the difference between moving in faith and hustling, which honestly, in a way, I think is moving in fear. I feel like there's a little bit of fear when it comes to people hustling and grinding, because the fear is, if I don't do it, it won't happen. If I don't do it, it won't get done. If I don't do it, that's the fear. If I don't do it, it's not going to happen. And that's not necessarily true. You do your work. You do your part. Absolutely. But there's also a part that you cannot do. There's also a part that only God can do. There's a part that God wants to do if we learn how to rest and sit down and sit back and let him do what only he can do. I feel like this is turning into a little bit of a sermon. And I didn't mean for that to happen, but it's all right. But no, seriously, in all seriousness, you know, we have to come to a space of realizing that the advancement that we seek, the fulfillment that we seek, the joy that we seek, everything we seek is not necessarily going to come to us in the hustle. There are a lot of things that we seek, that we want, that we desire, that we long for, that are only going to come when we learn how to sit back and rest and let God do what only he can do. It's almost like I'm thinking, when I'm talking about this, I'm thinking of a seed, and how, you know, when you plant a seed in the ground, it's gone. You don't see it anymore. All you see is the dirt. And for a period of time, you don't even see anything in that space where you planted that seed. You just see the dirt. And you almost have to think about the idea that the seed is in the ground doing what it's supposed to do. And the gardener or the planter or the farmer knows that he or she has done his or her job. And now you can't do anything else. If you plant a seed in the ground and every day you go and dig the seed up and see what's happening and then replant it, the seed is never going to sprout. It's never going to grow into the beautiful, luxurious plant or whatever it's supposed to be, because you keep digging it up. You keep trying to do work to make it happen. But if you plant it and you leave it and you let the earth do what it's supposed to do, and you let the rain do what it's supposed to do, and you let the sun do what it's supposed to do, and you sit back and you rest because you've done your part, that seed is going to come up. The seed is going to come up. The harvest is going to come. And so that's what I'm thinking of when I'm talking about this. I'm thinking of planting the seeds. What are the seeds that you want to flourish in your life? What seeds have you planted? You can't keep going back in and digging those seeds up and checking and seeing what's happening with the seed now. At some point, you have to know, okay, I'm confident that I did my part. I'm confident that I did my work. I'm confident that I've done all I can do in my power. And now it's time for everything else in this world, everything else on this earth, everything else in this universe to do its job to bring to fruition the thing that I have planted. And God can direct all of those things. So the hustle isn't necessarily going to be the thing, you know, that gets you to your goal. You have to plant your seed. You have to do your work. You have to do your part. You have to create a space where that seed can grow and flourish. But once you have planted the seed, once you've created the space where the seed can grow and flourish, once you've positioned yourself, once you have done your part, you've learned what you need to learn, you're continuing to learn what you can learn, you're continuing to grow in your mind, you're continuing to you know, stay on your path of purpose and vision and dream, that's your work. But going to dig up the seed every day to check in on it and see if it's doing what it needs to do, it's never going to grow. You have to recognize that you've done your part, you've done your work, you're continuing to do your work, and everything else requires you to sit back and relax and let the powers that be let God do what only God can do. But like I said, he's not going to jockey for position. He's not going to force his way in. So if you sit back and rest, then he can be like, all right, cool, chill out, let me do my part. I feel like God talks like that sometimes. Chill out, let me do my part. I've definitely experienced the benefits of taking my rest. I've definitely experienced the benefits of enjoying my rest. I've definitely experienced the opposite when I don't take my rest, when I feel like I gotta hustle and grind and work hard and I just end up exhausted, and then nothing that I do can be its best because I'm exhausted. But if I take my rest, do my part, do my work, then when my rest is over and it's time for me to go back to work again, I'm refreshed, I'm energized, I'm renewed, and I can do my part again. And then when it's time for me to sit down somewhere and take my rest again, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit down somewhere and take my rest again. I've seen the benefit of both of those things. I've seen the benefit, or rather I should say I've seen the outcome of both of those things. I've seen the outcome of hustling and grinding, working until I'm tired. And I've seen the outcome of, all right, this is a moment for me to rest. This is a moment for me to be still. This is a moment for me. I know that I've done what I can do. I've done my work. I'm continuing to do my work. But I'm also sitting back and resting and letting God do his work and letting the seeds that I've planted flourish and thrive. So that's what I want to share with y'all today. A lot of times the advancement that we are hoping for, wishing for, praying for, dreaming for only comes from our rest and not necessarily from our hustle. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you're watching this on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Send me your questions. Send me your musings, all of those things. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday. As always, if you're stupid, get out in the world, live, love, go, do, be. And don't forget to take your rest. You don't have to hustle all the time. It's not all up to you. Take your rest. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.